Oh, is ATO not able to like? He's busy.
No, he's in here, but
All right. Yeah,
he
you're.
just wants to like listen to the debate, and that way he'll
Uh,
give the final verdict. Like he'll
yeah,
talk to somebody else, and
you guys can judge out.
all
Yo,
right.
do you? Yeah, who are you repping? So Grimmjow. All right, Grimmjow. All
Yeah.
All right, so who's gonna start?
right. You can go Yang. State your. Well, I can. I'll go first. Here.
All right.
All right. So I guess we'll go B points first about their stats, and then we'll just
Yeah.
trade
So
off between their abilities and stuff along those lines.
yeah.
Any bonus?
Yeah. Sure. So hold on. Yeah. So basically, like, all right. So I'm representing Sasuke, Karen Sasuke. So I'm gonna say that Sasuke's and Grimmjow's speed are relative. If not, Sasuke has an advantage through supporting evidence, right? So basically, my entire premise is debate. I'm gonna say is that Sasuke has an advantage because Grimmjow, he's he's very arrogant, right? And he's not deceptive enough for Sasuke. Like his movements are already linear, and my premise is the fact that they're relative in terms of speed and power. There's no way to get Grimmjow, in my opinion, massively faster than Sasuke, Karen Sasuke. So yeah, Sasuke can just neg him with Genjutsu, able to alter his perception, false images, etc. Play with the senses, disrupt the senses to a more potent level than Koiko Sugetsu at me. Um, yeah, Sasuke can just Chidori his heart, one shot him. Do you oppose that?
I'm going to oppose that flash. I've gathered quite a bit of evidence, but before
Go ahead.
okay, stat line, you just think it's irrelevant.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Was I cutting out?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so
Oh, did anybody hear Yang say that, or is it just me?
I heard him. Keep going.
All right, all right.
are you going to go over soft, or do they not matter to you?
No, they matter. They matter. I just gave like my like entry pretty much. I always do that. Yeah.
Okay. If we go over stat,
Well, where do you put Grimmjow?
oh, well, I figured that beyond Hava. Am I cutting out for you?
A little bit. Is it just me? Like, I don't know. What did he
Can't hear him or something.
like? He just like
Can't hear.
echoes.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just Yang.
Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear everyone else except for Yang. He just like bubbles out. Like, sorry. Go ahead.
Yang.
Me.
Wait. Yang, try leaving and come.
Yeah, I was gonna try that. Testing. 1, 2, 3. Am I?
Just go ahead and I'll just ask them or something. I don't know. I can't hear you.
Maybe it's a you problem, or
Maybe.
is it a problem?
Well, I hear you fine now. So
Okay then. So Sasuke stats first, or should I go?
yeah, like tell me like why do you think Grimmjow would win? Like what do you think the advantages have over Sasuke's weaknesses? Do you think
I
it's
believe he has a significant speed boost, and that he
Okay. Can you prove that?
Okay. Don't you? Now.
Hmm.
Uh.
Yang, are you talking? I mean, I think I heard you.
No,
Heard
no,
you.
I'm
Okay.
I'm just waiting for my gallery to load.
Oh, okay. You're gonna scale grimmjow speed towards Sasuke. All right.
I have some scans.
Oh, okay. Um.
Over on my gallery, taking forever to load them.
Where are you posting your scans?
Arena 2.
All right.
Okay, so I'm gonna leave BC real quick, see if I can fix the problem that my phone's having, and I'll get right back in.
Okay. Well, I hear you good now, but all right. Hmm. Okay.
Alright, still coming through clear?
Yeah, I was hearing you fine. Just now.
Just making sure.
Can you just-
So, according to a guidebook, Ichigo in his Bankai during the Soul Society arc was moving like lightning, which would mean he would have, at worst, lightning time. Grimmjow, in his base, was bodying this Ichigo.
Okay.
Then you have his resurrection, which would increase his power and sometimes because cards have some multipliers. He 5 to 10 times. Ichigo really stuck on the 10 times power rank, which leans towards which means that Grimmjow in his resurrection would be well over 10 times the speed of light.
Is that your argument?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm gonna respect Kubo's intent that Ichigo at that point Bankai S arc that he is indeed a lightning timer stated by Kubo himself. Right. I'm not gonna attack that right now. However, what I will ask you to do is to prove that it's actually legitimate of it his resurrection being a 10 times amp. I've read Bleach or watched Bleach, and I've never seen that stated or implied anywhere or shown in a feat. For someone to be 10 times, it's like massive to where they can't even perceive them with their perception, let alone. In fact, when Ichigo was fighting Grimmjow in his Bankai state, right after his fight against Byakuya, like I think it's like a month later, they're going back and forth as rivals. And I don't. You said bodying. I don't know what you mean by bodying. You have to elaborate on that.
In their first encounter, when Grimmjow brought his, I think, fractions, the guys like Xiaolong.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
During their first fight, he was smacking Ichigo around so casually that he didn't even draw his sword until he get the attention.
Okay.
During their second fight was when Grimmjow had the one on, and Ichigo had just sorta perfected his fighting training, but not really.
Well, we'll stay. Okay. Well, okay. Okay. So their first encounter. What I'm saying is, his resurrection is not a 10 times amp, nor is Ichigo at that point. Ichigo during SS or Ichigo when he fought them, like even before Dangai, Ichigo's Bankai is not a 10 times amp. Ichigo did not master Bankai, okay, at all. And Yoruichi, when she's referring to the context, she's saying those who master Bankai, okay, and I believe it's heavily implied that she just taught him to learn Bankai, not master. There's a big difference. Like example, Toshiro didn't even master Bankai until Thousand Year War. No, he didn't even master Bankai during SS arc. It was implied heavily in Thousand Year War. Also with Renji. Renji didn't master his Bankai either. He didn't even know his Bankai's name. Or his Bankai didn't respect him, per se, to acknowledge it. Yeah, so I don't know where you would get Ichigo learning Bankai in 3 days to correlate to him mastering it for it to receive the 10 times multiplier. And then you're trying to stack Grimmjow's resurrection to be comparable. But the fact is, the Arrancar's resurrection and the Shinigami's Bankai, they aren't equivalent amps. I mean, yeah, they both increase power, but not the same. In fact, Kisuke states in Thousand Year War to that word captain that the amp that the Arrancars give equals almost in power. So almost, but it's not relative or comparable.
Well, almost means almost. That would have to be relative.
Well,
That works.
10%. Yeah, I shouldn't have said relative, but I meant like not equivalent. Okay. So at most, I would say that would be a 5 times amp for Bankai during that time in this in the arc or the story. If you can prove 10 times, try it.
Sorry, I was looking around for Kisuke statements rather than being basically like a Bankai.
You don't need statements. If you just say it and I remember it, I won't say, yo, give me skins. I'll know what you're talking about. If you just say it.
So you wanted to prove that, like, the Bankai resurrection multipliers, at least for characters like Ichigo,
At that
is a 10 times.
at that time, what would make it a 10 times multiplier? What justifies that claim? What substantiates it?
The fact that Ichigo, at the start when he activated his Bankai, he would have killed Byakuya if he tried.
He would have killed.
Because at the start of the fight, he blitzed Byakuya and had his sword at his throat.
Yeah, that just means Byakuya couldn't handle lightning levels of speed. I don't know what else that proves.
Although you could consider that to be off guard, considering how Byakuya was later on able to deal with him. But this is a Byakuya who's had well over a decade to master his Bankai. So it stands within reason that he would have the 10 times amp, if not slightly weaker than that. And Ichigo was able to match that for a period.
Nothing proves that at all. What you're basically saying headcanon because, and you're using an experience fallacy. Again, here, it's what I'll show. So in your scan you posted here, it says like lightning. So this is Ichigo. He has these levels of speed. So upon Upon releasing or showing these levels of speed against Byakuya, Byakuya is unable to perceive him on multiple occasions. So that just proves, or further proves my point, that Byakuya himself, being who cares how long of a captain he's been or training he has, he cannot match these levels of speed. Okay? That's what that proves.
You spoke about how, like, in the context that Yoriki said, like, a master Bankai
Mm-hmm.
would get you that 5 different times amp, and Ichigo was able to catch this Byakuya off guard. This Byakuya who's had well over a decade of experience with Bankai, maybe he was nearly mastered it by this point.
Yeah. Well, that.
When you look at the abilities he's shown, his Bankai abilities didn't really improve that much.
Yes, Byakuya mastering his Bankai means absolutely nothing. That correlates to his individual or his initiate abilities. Example, Kenpachi Zaraki can't even use Bankai, but he would cuck slap the shit out of Byakuya in base. Okay? So now you have Ichigo.
That's a different debate altogether.
Okay. Then you have Ichigo, who was born with, like, the royal blood, like, Ishin his father, his Quincy. He has like these levels of reserves already coming from his initial abilities, his inborn talents. And then he's just learning to use it better. And then Bankai, he's learning Bankai to awaken this. So that's all really. That's just Ichigo's inborn talent, being able to fight against Byakuya, regardless of his experience, doesn't mean anything. He just can't handle these levels of speeds, is what that proves. So
Why are we even debating this topic?
I don't know. You're trying to scale, because you're trying to scale to like 5 times or 10 times. It's 5 times. I don't know what would prove 10.
Well,
Or you haven't proved it.
the fact that whenever the Shinigami and the Bankars enter the resurrection / use their Bankais, the other side reciprocates and does the same.
Yeah, but what would make it 10? That's the point here.
Authorial 10.
Nothing implies that. Nothing implies that at all. Sorry?
Mumbling to myself here.
Okay. I mean, it's just speed. I mean, it's not. If you lose 1 point, I mean, if you can't scale, I don't know. You didn't even lose a point. You're just scaling right now, so I don't. It's weird. So what are you doing now, Yang? Are you figuring out? Oh, okay. All right, take your time. I don't care. It's not like a no time limit here. I mean, I have to, I kind of have to be somewhere by 11. So, but take your time though.
I'll try not to take forever.
All right. And then I already got Seth telling everybody I'm ducking him and shit. So it's like, damn.
So now, since I just went over speed, how to go what you have in the
Sasuke? Oh shoot. Okay. Well, I can scale. Okay. I can scale. I can tell you that basically what I said in the beginning, that Grimmjow's speed isn't above Sasuke. In fact, I believe, my opinion, if you rank Grimmjow's speed, there'd be relative, in fact, to where Sasuke will still have an advantage because he has insane perception through clarity, through the eye of hypnotism or insight with his Sharingan base 3 Tomo, right? So let me scale Sasuke. So you have Kakashi as a kid, as fatigue, is able to perceive lightning, right? And we know perception directs cognition. And we know Kakashi, while fatigued, was able to keep up and tag lightning. And lightning, the speed of lightning, the step leader, is traveling at 220 miles per hour. So that's Mach 289 times faster than sound. And we know that's massively hypersonic. That's a borderline, the average, that's borderline lightning timer. In fact, the same as your own scan as Ichigo being like lightning. What I'm telling you here is that a fatigued Kid Kakashi has lightning levels of speed in the same way in which Kubo gave his intent through Ichigo to display Ichigo's speed at that time. So now you have Kakashi, who is an adult, right? We know he awakens the three Tomo. We know he, in the MS, etc. We know he's an adult, experience. Who cares? So we know he's grown exponentially over the years, right? And we know. I mean, I'm not gonna headcanon and say it's 10 times, but we know he's grown exponentially stronger to be faster than the speed of lightning. Then we know we have Sasuke as an adult, who scales to that very own Kakashi. He's able to fight the same Akatsuki members that Kakashi is able to swap hands with, and Kakashi as an adult acknowledges them as fast. And keep in mind, Kakashi as an adult isn't even known for his speed. So I have to ask you, what would make anybody think a fatigued kid Kakashi would be known for his speed when an adult Kakashi is not? So keep that in mind. So yeah, Sasuke swapping hands with Deidara. Deidara could swap hands with. He was actually swapping hands with my guy. My guy is stated in the guidebook to be lightning fast hands in base. Deidara is perceiving him and soloing his team. He's also fighting Kakashi, perceiving Kakashi, keeping up with Kakashi, right? And that scales to Sasuke, base Sasuke, or 3 Tomo, whatever. And then we know Sasuke can increase his power times 10 through the curse mark. It would be more than 10, but I'm not going to headcanon it. Just say 10 times. So Sasuke is at least tens of times faster than the speed of lightning at that point. And yeah, if you want scans or something, I don't know, say so.
The problem with that, though.
So
Okay, so as a general ballpark, you're saying Sasuke with the curse mark is somewhere like 10, 1-ish,
Mhm.
speed of lightning.
Just for low ball sake right now. I didn't grandstand that, by the way.
The problem with that is that the curse mark was never explicitly stated to increase speed in the same way that it increases power. Like, without a doubt, the curse mark does make you faster than in base, but the exact amount is an unknown.
It's implied overall as in power, like power as an overall, meaning speed as well. This is shown because Sasuke, who had trouble perceiving Naruto, his QB amp, which we know that the one tail should be 10 times amp, especially in speed, because Sasuke needed to use his curse mark to match that. And Sasuke had trouble perceiving it until going on to the curse mark. Sasuke was able to perceive it well and react to it well. Do you not recall that, or? Oh. I can get. It's so easy to get Sasuke to like sub-relativistic speeds. It's not even funny. Speeds is hard to get. Speeds at which it's hard to get grimmjow. And after this debate, after we have this debate, I'll explain why. Like it's so. I feel bad. I mean, it's just why it's so hard debating Bleach sometimes. But
I honestly don't have a rebuttal for that. However, something that we both have to keep in mind is that grimmjow is far above just like 5 to 10 times the speed of lightning, because in their first encounter, grimmjow was bodying Ichigo so badly, taking it so casually, that he didn't even need to draw his sword until Ichigo hit him to catch his attention.
yeah, we went over that. Remember? And that's just grimmjow being arrogant. And that's a good point. But he didn't draw his sword. But the speed, what you understand, their speeds are relative regardless. Because here I'll post. I don't know if you. Here I'll post some scans. Hold on. Because in their first encounter, when they were going back at it, like grimmjow was catching him off guard, and Ichigo instantly blitzed him, caught him off guard. They were having trouble perceiving one another. So for someone to be like tens of times faster than someone, or tens of times, their perception is lost. Their perception is totally lost because the human eye can only see like, what was it, like 1/10? Speeds are like 1/10 or something. Like it's just, hold on, I can get that. I'm going to show you what I mean. Like the human eye can only perceive up to 1/10 of a second, bro. That's like tens of times faster than what we can perceive. Not the average, like 5 to 10 times. And a lot of ways people can prove like a character is like tens of or 5 to 10 times faster than someone or stronger, or especially in terms of speed, is like if they lose perception, they can't perceive them at all or see them, you know. But here, I'll show you. I'll post some scans here. In the first encounter, like, because Grimmjow and Ichigo was a good battle, and they were always like they're Kubo wanted them to be rivals, right? They rival each other. Period. I don't think one was massively stronger than the other. They were borderline rivals, relative, like from the very beginning. Of course, Ichigo had an advantage later on with the holification amp, but I'll show you what I mean through this. I'll post in Arena 2. All right. Like we know this one right here, where Grimmjow thought he had Ichigo. Ichigo's like, oh yeah, and it comes back at him. Grimmjow loses focus and then catches him back. Like, you know, that's just relative feats right there. That's just it's constantly doing that towards Grimmjow. And Grimmjow was pissed. Grimmjow didn't know Ichigo was that strong, and it actually hurt him. Like he couldn't acknowledge Ichigo to be that powerful.
Grimmjow was completely unhurt until after he got hit by the Tensho.
This is true. Well, that's power though, but speed, right? We're on speed.
Like, again, the big thing though is that he's not taking this fight all that seriously. He hasn't even drawn out his sword compared to when, like, right at the beginning of their third battle, where he drew his sword immediately.
Yeah, totally. But we're focused.
Add the 5 to 4, likely 10 times AM. Can you hear me, Dad?
Sorry.
Just my dad being loud. I don't know if you can hear.
It's all good, bro. Take your time.
Anyways, Grimmjow is likely, and how casually he was taking it, somewhere between 10 to 20 times the speed of light.
Again, yeah, you have to legitimately prove that though, and something you haven't done this far. I don't know.
What exactly?
Prove it would be a 10 times. Yeah. Because you're saying tens of times, nothing substantiates that. Either you have to prove that. I've already explained why I gave my argument, why that's not the case. I don't know, but you can try again. But at this time, it would be like, I guess some people would call that willful ignorance. I won't do that, but I'm just saying, like.
The big thing is, you're basically saying no to the authorial intent, because earlier you said you won't, like, deny Kubo's where they go into real life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Yoruichi gave her explanation about the Bankai multiplier being 5 to 10 times, Ichigo stuck with it being at 10 times.
That's where we disagree. That's not author's intent. That's your opinion. Something that you have to prove. You have to substantiate that claim you're making, because Yoruichi explains through mastery it would be a 10 times through the context. I don't know what proves that learning it would be tens of times. So weird. I just posted the Viz translation below also. You can read that if you want. Yeah. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, Ichigo Bankai against base Grimmjow. I'm sorry, man. Nothing proves that Grimmjow was 5 or at least 2 times faster than Ichigo.
I'm not saying Grimmjow was 5 to. I'm not saying in base he's 5 to 10 times stronger or faster.
Or 2.
No, I am not even trying that. I'm saying, considering the speed gap that there would be, considering how casually Grimmjow was manhandling Ichigo, added with the Bankai-ish multiplier his resurrection would have, he would be in the range of being 10 light.
What proves that?
The bare minimum Bankai multiplier being 5 times the 10, and Grimmjow wasn't taking Ichigo seriously at all until he had to pull out his sword at the end of the first show.
Here, let me clarify something. Are you saying Resurrection Grimmjow it would be tens of times like the speed of lightning?
Yes, I'm saying that Resurrection Grimmjow would be somewhere in the range of 10 to 20 times the speed of light.
Okay, so
Depending
relative,
on what his main speed would be.
so relative to where I scaled Sasuke, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Remember that was was that not my main like my first like point?
Basically.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. Yeah.
I have a feeling this will be the big one. Power. How strong do you view Kirin Sasuke as?
Hmm.
With and without Kirin, just so we can specify.
Man. Okay. So, I'm gonna say that they're relative regardless. That's my premise again, in terms of what they can do. Um, without Karen, I don't know. Without Karen, I can get Sasuke to like Chidori at least gauge with his speed because Chidori is very potent. It's one of the most potent abilities within all of Naruto within that verse. Um, so it's very casual. I can easily say that Sasuke would be like at least mountain level overall, especially with Karen though. That would be my main argument with that. And his hacks would also give him the advantage to run
Give an explanation for why he's not level.
with Karen.
Either way, regardless. Just
Okay,
explain why he would be mountain level with
so
and or without.
there are calcs that have him like mountain level plus, but even if you use the Uchiha hideout, he was able to completely neg that. I mean, which is a mountain structure in size, density, and overall. So, I guess I could use that. Mm,
What would put him at mountain level physically? You haven't explained it. You just say, oh, there are calcs. I need more context.
calcs with Karen, but Sasuke like hand to hand. I don't know. I guess I can just
In
say
terms of his, like his hand-to-hand ability and his normal non-abilities. Like, around what level would that be?
oh man, I have no clue. I'm not gonna headcanon that. I'm
So
just
your big point is
my stand.
mountain level two.
Yeah, he's able to fight characters that Sasuke is able to fight characters exponentially more powerful than him. He's able to fight like mountain plus tiers. To the fact that it's not a massive advantage. That's pretty much it.
All right. So. Here's this one. Oh, it's the end of this chance. So. Here's the loads. As you can see in the bottom right panel, Nell states that it would take them 3 days to get to the front door of Las Noches. How were they all in Las Noches? Did you headcanon?
I'm aware of
I
this.
don't know.
You don't have to show me scans on this. I'm aware of everything.
Okay, so
Are-
I'm just gonna assume that he means like the front door is on the other side of Las Noches because that would give the smallest results.
yeah. Are you scaling Grimmjow to like being able to hurt, or his existence being able to hurt like Las Noches, comparable to the
Um,
4?
allow me.
Okay.
So it would take at minimum 6 days to walk around the circumference of Las Noches, and hold up, I gotta do these quick conversions here.
Well, we know that Las Noches has been calced to be small country level, consistently.
So I don't need to explain that.
Yeah, you don't need to explain anything.
Based off of
Yeah.
based off of Mel's statements about how it basically takes 6 days to walk around all of the countries of Las Noches at minimum, that put Las Noches as the size of a country,
Hmm.
give or take.
Yeah,
And
totally.
as Ulquiorra stated, the Gran Rey Cerro and Espada's Resurrection from born up is capable of threatening Las Noches. Now, to what extent is unknown, but for it to be a threat would mean that at least a significant chunk of Las Noches can be destroyed from a single use of the Gran Rey Cerro. And grimmjow fires the Gran Rey Cerro, and Ichigo with his hollow mask just swipes it and completely destroys it. And then grimmjow enters his Resurrection and is swapping hands and is about equal to this Ichigo, which would put him at low country level at minimum.
Totally. That's it. That your argument?
That's my argument for power.
Okay, I would have to say that Yukiura's statement is a clear outlier. Nothing backs that or justifies that per se. And before I get to the next point here, like the fact that grimmjow and Yami both use Gran Rey Cerros within Las Noches, and there's a guidebook stating that Yami is stronger than base Yukiura, at least. I'm not going to say release Yukiura, that would be headcanon, but at least Kubo's making it clear he's stronger than base Yukiura, who's the fourth Espada. And nothing happens to Las Noches when Yami fires this Gran Rey Cerro. And so grimmjow firing. Sorry?
I'm sorry, but can you tell us anything new in the Gran Rey Cerro? Because I don't remember
He
at
does.
any point.
Yami?
Yeah.
I got you. Hold on. And he also releases. So, one second.
So, the thing about your debunk is, you say that there's absolutely no supporting evidence about Ulquiorra's statement. There are two problems with that. One is that Ulquiorra exits Las Noches and cuts through the canopy, so he would not destroy Las Noches by entering his Resurrection. And another thing, this isn't a rule that the Espada set in place. This is a rule that Aizen set in place. Aizen is a genius, and he would be well aware of what the abilities, what they're capable of. He wouldn't set these sort of restrictions on the Espada for no reason. It's because it's an actual threat to Las Noches.
Yeah, that would.
The fact that Ulquiorra goes to the canopy to avoid transforming while within it supports this.
Yeah, that would imply that he's more concerned about his release rather than a Gran Rey Cerro coming from a Espada who isn't even 4 and above, is what I'm getting at.
Well, I understand that, but
Boss, can you move Zap to here? Or Hybrid?
Okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, I'll move him.
anyways, while true, I'm not gonna say a Gran Rey Cerro is as powerful as level 4 Espada's Resurrection. That would straight up be stupid of me, but the fact that that was banned as well goes to show how it's a significant threat to Las Noches as well. Not to the same extent as Ulquiorra's release.
Yeah,
It would still be somewhat relative.
you'd have to prove of that. That's my whole point. I'm saying that it's not even remotely close. I'm not saying that this. I'm not saying 4 and I'm saying 4 and above are different massively than to what base grimmjow is doing. So, yeah.
The fact that Aizen banned it in the first place goes to show just how dangerous the Gran Rey Cerro is.
Yeah, I called my entire argument is that it's an outlier to what Yukio was referring to. That's it. And I explained, and I'll explain it again, that he's essentially talking about he's talking about the espadas for who are 4 and above and their initial release. That has nothing to do with Grimmjow. Grimmjow does not scale to that. He does not. What I'm saying is Grimmjow does not scale to their power at all. And even if you want to say that his Gran Racero can hurt or cause a chunk, doesn't matter. Like scourge the earth of Las Noches doesn't. What's the feat? Well, what does that put his AP? Is what I'm getting at.
Okay, so time for some backwards scaling because this will not satisfy it. So, Ulquiorra, Cerro Astiras aims at Ichigo. He's not even aiming for Las Noches, and this happens.
Yeah, Yukiora is massively more powerful than Grimmjow, tens of times.
Ichigo's hollow mass was significantly stronger than base Ulquiorra.
Yeah, Ichigo's hollow mass.
We've established the same hollow mass Ichigo that was equal to Grimmjow.
That's false. That Ichigo was not equal. In fact, Yukiora himself stated that Ichigo during combat, as he was fighting, his mask was gaining more power. It was strengthening. So as a more powerful Ichigo and a more powerful like character, you're showing scans, or I don't know. You're trying to you're pretty much throwing in like more powerful characters to scale to power creep. Grimmjow, which again I don't know why.
Have you ever heard of a thing called backwards scaling?
I don't know.
You know what that is?
I don't know. Is there a definition for that?
As a general term, backwards scaling is when you use later feats as supporting evidence for why a certain character would be at a tier.
If they scale to them somehow or some way, shape, or form, in which they don't.
Say that Ichigo became massively stronger between his first fight with Ulquiorra and his first fight in Las Noches against Ulquiorra, and his second fight would be pure headcanon. Yes, he improved, but to say that there was that big of a gap would be pure headcanon. Like,
It's also headcanon. I think you just conceded that it's also headcanon to power creep Grimmjow, who got cucked, who lost to this Ichigo, but it's Ichigo who was growing exponentially during the day, which was stated.
to what extent that he improved.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know to what extent, but we know it's relative to someone who in base who would one shot Grimmjow. So we know it's exponentially. Unless you
Are
oppose.
saying base Ulquiorra would one-shot Resurrection Grimmjow?
Yeah,
Is that where we're going with it?
yeah, that's yeah.
Sorry, but there is no proof of that whatsoever.
I don't know. Grimmjow, you want me to scale the espadas for you or something, bro? After you give your point.
No.
Oh. Well, let's look at it. Let's scale. Like let's do this. So we have Zimimori, right? Who's able to like fight. Hold on. I was getting a text.
Herbert, can you put Zerker in here?
Are you kidding me? Is everyone getting in here? Is it because I'm debating Flash? It's because I'm debating Flash, isn't it?
So like let's look at this. We have Zimimori, we have like he's able to fight. Zimimori is able to fight Byakuya, right? Zimimori's pretty fast. Let me ask you, how much more powerful do you think Grimmjow is compared to Zimimori?
I can't say that.
Well, I'll use your own argument. I'll use your own argument against you. We know base Grimmjow is basically saying Ichigo's speed, that he's not impressed by it, right? This is base Grimmjow. Grimmjow that you use in your argument saying he wasn't trying. Now we have Zimimori, who's the 7th Espada, right? He's not it. What's Zimimori's number again? Is it 7th? Okay, Grimmjow 6. Okay, and we know that he's able to like keep up and perceive and tag and fight on par with Byakuya. However, we have Grimmjow in base, who's like not even impressed by Bankai Ichigo's speed, right? So in base, he's borderline relative, is my argument. And we know Byakuya wasn't able to perceive this same Ichigo until Ichigo was able to slow down. So Ichigo didn't have the stamina per se to keep that level of speed. So that proves already base Grimmjow is 10 times at least faster. and we know that Aizen set the numbers to grow in strength to be stronger, right? So we know he's tens of times stronger than Zimimori in base. So if you go Resurrection, he'll be hundreds of times stronger than, or if you want to use your 10, but I'll just use 5. So I'll just say 10 to 20 or 50 times faster than, or more powerful than Zimimori.
Byakuya had gotten a colossal.
Yeah? How much? How many more powerful?
To the point where he kind of slapped Yami away.
See, that's, you're just using headcanon now.
Number 0 Espada.
See, you're just using headcanon now. You're just using headcanon.
Amazing head.
But I just literally scaled, and to show you why, this is the difference between like Espada 7th and 6th, right? Look, pay attention. The gap in the difference between 7th and 6th is so like large, tens of times, right? Lowballing. And now you have the 4th Espada compared to, okay.
The issue with that argument is that Byakuya in the Wake of Mundo arc is far, far, far stronger than he was in the Soul Society arc because he smacked away Yami. Yami, the number 0 Espada. The strongest Espada in basically every physical category except maybe speed if you really want to downplay it on that. So to say that the gap between Zamari and Grimmjow is that enormous because, Byakuya couldn't keep up with Ichigo in the previous arc, that is wrong. Because Byakuya had clearly gotten a gigantic boost. And keep in mind here, Yami, in his resurrection, was capable of swapping hands with a Bankai Ichigo. And Byakuya just slapped that Yami away.
Yeah, but Byakuya, but that's a good point, but that wasn't really a one-on-one fight. That was more of like a 1vx situation, to where Yami was kind of holding his own.
Sure.
So I don't know where that has.
Okay. So the 2v1 argument doesn't hold much weight if that's what you're going for. Because in Bleach, you need relative reactivity to be able to hurt your opponent because look at Ichigo versus Kenpachi when they fought. Ichigo swung down his sword at Kenpachi, and he got hurt instead because Kenpachi had so much more reactivity than Ichigo that he just could not touch him. And the fact that Byakuya was not only able to smack away Yami, but injure him as well, shows that he was, at worst, relative to Yami. The same Yami who, once again, strongest Espada.
Okay. So
You have a rebuttal for that?
So maybe I shouldn't have said base Yukiora would one shot him.
Considering how they actually flashed for a bit and Yukiora didn't just smack him away.
I'd rather say base Yukiora can beat him. Would that be better wording?
I'd still have to go no on that because Ichigo, with his Hollow Mass, was able to press Ukiora to the point where his sword was cracked and he needed to enter his Resurrection. And while he was a bit stronger in that fight than against Grimmjow, the exact gap is unknown.
I can argue then, Ichigo after. This is what I'll do. I can argue Ichigo being able to master his halification at that point. I can say it was it gave him a huge advantage over Grimmjow. I would say they weren't even relative anymore. The moment Ichigo tried, it was over. Would you oppose that? That's what I would say. And then I would say that a stronger, and I'll say Ichigo, because it was stated multiple times that the longer he kept tapping into the Hollow's power, it was growing constantly. And then I would say that's the same Ichigo who was able to press Yukiora in order for base Yukiora to release. Although Yukiora was able to Yukiora felt threatened. I'm not even going to argue that right now. Yukiora did feel threatened by Ichigo's halification to where he needed to release. It was actually implied. He was actually scared of Ichigo from the very beginning. Grimmjow actually stated that. So that's what I would say. I'm just yet again proving that you're using stronger characters who would destroy the same resurrection on Grimmjow. So
Okay, so Ulquiorra's release, without a doubt, is country level. Let's just say, like of lowballing him, a Grimmjow was only a 10 as strong as Ulquiorra when they're both in the resurrection. Does that seem about fair to you?
No, this is a debate. I want you to justify everything and prove it and back it. Here's what I'll do. Actually, this is what I'll just do this now. This is my here. So since it's a versus battle, right, and no outside help is needed, check Arena 2. Thing about Wako Mundo is the Rietsu. Of course, you know this. The Rietsu, the Reishi is so dense that Fado hollows are able to take advantage of it. In fact, so much that it's stated by Yuru that it's an advantage, right? So they're able to like survive. Like normally, hollows would have to feed on souls, right? But in Wako Mundo, they just simply breathe the air because it's so dense with Rietsu or spiritual energy. And I'll post those scans if you need it. So what I'm saying is, this fight isn't.
Trying to say that, like,
This I'm telling you.
Are you saying like the characters get a colossal amp from getting in Wako Mundo?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. And this is versus battle, and there's no outside help. He wouldn't have that amp. Sorry.
How big of an amp are you talking about here? Because
It's an advantage. It's an advantage to where we've seen characters fight outside of that realm to some degree, especially like even doing a backward scales, your own like definition. I don't know what that is. We've seen top 3 Espadas fight in Kura Town, and we've never seen them. We see them go into releases and not do the same levels of destructions that was stated to be.
okay then.
So, but I'll post
If
that.
you're going that route of inconsistent feats, then Sasuke's like wall level.
I'm not saying it's. I'm saying that this is a versus battle, and that's outside help. That's what I'm saying. Why would I play Sasuke in Wako Mundo to fight Grimmjow? Why would I give Sasuke, like what if like example if Sasuke was able, like if I was repping Orochimaru, and I would say, man, Orochimaru use Edo Tensei, like that would be outside help. Even though some people would like argue over the form of summoning, but.
So you mean you're basically saying that being in Wako Mundo gives the character such a colossal amp that characters who would logically be tens of times, if not hundreds, stronger than Ulquiorra are nothing.
What I'm saying,
Close to country level, is that
what I'm saying is like, Sasuke and Grimmjow's AP is borderline relative. Like, if you want to place Grimmjow within, even if you want to place Grimmjow within Wako Mundo and scale him to like characters he doesn't scale to, which I pointed that out, it wouldn't be a massive advantage to where Sasuke could. Sorry, to where Sasuke couldn't like have like to, it wouldn't be a massive advantage for Sasuke to deal with, because Sasuke can deal with people who are exponentially more powerful than him through his hacks and his abilities and his versatilities. It's not out of his ballpark. Sasuke, see, what are you talking about? Sasuke would like kill Killer B.
You're talking about characters.
Why would you say Killer B?
Because Killer B was dominating Sasuke.
You mean the same?
Without any tails, and then with just 3 chakra tails, no more no less, he blitzed and one-shotted Sasuke.
Okay.
And he would have died if it wasn't for his team.
Okay. Number one, I'll clap you on that real quick. Number one, you're talking about the same Killer B that Sasuke one-shot to like completely ended the fight with Amaterasu. That Killer B, and the fact that you brought up him with a 3-tail amp, him being able to one-shot him, that's because Sasuke let his guard down. Okay, I debated so many people on this. I'll like breeze through this so fast. Number one, keep in mind, Sasuke was heavily fatigued. And I was going to use this in this same debate because did you know this is the same Sasuke I'm representing? Like literally after he fought Itachi. So that's carrying Sasuke. So not even like within 24 hours, he then fights Killer B, right? And it's stated that he hasn't even recovered. So Sasuke, who is suppressed and weakened, is going on and challenging this Killer B. And Sasuke could have killed Killer B on numerous occasions, number one. And you also have to understand that Sasuke was ordered not to kill Killer Bee because Killer Bee is his Jinchuriki. So I don't know why you'd bring up Killer Bee. Like, Sasuke would, like, destroy Killer Bee with bloodlust.
Killer Bee was shown to be stronger than the Raikage when they clashed.
That's an outlier.
Yuki's chakra. How is that an outlier?
That's an outlier because version one, yeah, come on, version one.
So, Sasuke's Amaterasu that supposedly one-shotted Killer Bee.
It took him out the fight.
The fourth Raikage just threw it off like it was nothing. Like, okay, I lost an arm, whatever.
Okay, what does that mean?
And you're telling me that Sasuke can fight characters much stronger than himself through hacks, and yet the series consists.
Who said Amaterasu was hacks?
Yeah.
Who said? Well, Amaterasu is like hacks and power because you feel the physical force of the energy. But you did say something wrong. I was going to correct you. It's an outlier to what you're implying when Killer Bee in base with his lariat was overpowering a version 1 cloak or an amp Raikage. Is that what you're talking about? Correct me?
Yeah,
That's an outlier because the Raikage in version 1 was smacking down KCM1 Naruto and Killer Bee at the same time numerous occasions. So this is an outlier because for the 7th time, like, emotions are getting involved and they're clashing and they're thinking about their past. He overpowers him, and then soon after that, as soon as he overpowers him, Killer Bee, which is an outlier, Raikage comes back up and brushes him aside, then goes full power against Naruto. And unless you're implying that base Killer Bee is able to, like, be superior to KCM1 Naruto, keep in mind Sasuke, like, it's an outlier, Yang. It's not a good argument. Here, I'll say one more thing. I'll say one more thing on the Sasuke vs Killer Bee, and then we can go back to why your grimmjow thing. Okay? So you got to remember, Killer Bee did indeed use the 3-tail amp against Sasuke, and Sasuke dodged it. Do you not remember that? So he increased his base to, like, tag Sasuke with lariat, and Sasuke mid-air dodged it and perceived it easily. So not even MS. So I don't know where you're going with that, man. It's not a good argument.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So are we going back to the whole grimmjow argument now?
Yeah, I don't know why you said what up Killer Bee. That was weird.
To sort of debunk the notion that Sasuke can beat stronger characters than himself.
He can. They can. Yes, they can, because even, like, their ocular powers alone, they can, like, tame, like, unless you think 15 years.
One character.
I already named Killer Bee. I'll
Straight up fight or through his hacks. Name one guy who was a lot stronger than him that he could beat.
I can tell you characters he scales to. I can tell you.
That he has fought and beat.
I can just tell you that through his hacks and abilities, why his ocular powers, why characters he scales to, they can suppress or beat people, like, stronger than them. Like, example, 15-year-old Obito can tame the Nine Tails. Unless you think 15-year-old Obito has equal power and potency as Nine Tails. Prime Nine Tails. Good luck with that. Do I need to continue? Hacks doesn't equal power. Understand that. I'm just saying that. And oh my god, it doesn't. And also, look at this game that I posted. So what I'm saying, Yang, is like, yo, this is like a versus battle, and this is outside because read what you were saying. They give him such a massive amp, right? And we've seen Grimmjow fight. Yeah, he was in base, so I can't really use that. But I can use, like, the top 4 or top 3 spotters who fought in Kirker Town, what they did upon releasing, to show that the amp is just so massive that if they, like, release their power by existing, they can completely neg Las Noches. That's all. I don't know, man. Like, after this,
All that Uryu is saying here is that the Hollows himself would get an amp from being there. He's not saying, like, oh, we must be hundreds or thousands of times stronger here. There's nothing like
nobody's implying that. It's just I'm not saying 100. I'm not getting a number. I never gave a number. I'm telling you it's massive in the same way he's implying. It's an advantage. My point is saying them being within this dimension gives them a huge advantage. Same as what you were saying. That's all I said. And I'm telling you, in the versus battle, this would be outside help unless you want to place. I'm not placing Sasuke within this realm.
I'm not placing Grimmjow in this realm.
So he doesn't have this amp. So his power isn't as strong. Is this because the energy within this verse is a lot more potent and it's more influential to what it can do to these characters within, and that's it. It doesn't correlate to like a versus battle towards neutral or toward like the human world itself within its own verse. It doesn't coincide at all. It's not the same. It doesn't get the same amp.
So, quick question: if this was Ukiura versus Kirin Sasuke, just as an example, how much weaker would Ukiura be in your mind?
I don't have to answer that. This is a debate.
I just want to get an idea. I want to get an idea of how big of an amp you think this is. Do you think that Ukiura would drop to mountain level from country level?
I have no clue. I don't have to answer that.
Well, if you can't even answer this point,
That's
not relevant.
that's what. That's not how it works. I don't have to answer questions in debate. At all. Okay.
You do realize what a debate is, right?
Dang, are you serious?
It's just you just said.
Yang, that's not a point. Yang, that's not a point or claim. You're asking me a question literally. I don't have to answer questions in debate. You don't have to ask your opponent anything. Your opponent doesn't have to answer anything. You're not making a stand. You're just saying something. You're commanding me to answer something. I don't have to do that. Come on, bro.
Listen,
I'll give my conclusions after this. Or I'll give it now. Can I give it now, or you wanna? So this is my what's up?
wait, hold up. I forget. Did you answer how strong Sasuke is physically?
Like, what do you mean? I said he can. Well, I remember I repeated twice that he's able to fight characters who are like stronger than him. I said he's like mountain level. He can deal with mountain level plus threats easily, or people who are powerful than him. That's what I said.
Okay then.
Just wouldn't be a massive advantage. It's characters he can deal with. So, I'll give a conclusion to why again I think Sasuke would win. Not only did you fail to get Sasuke, I mean, yeah, you kind of get them. You kind of got them relative, but here, actually, I'll do this right now. I'll scale this right now. Since you brought up Killer B, I use Killer B. So, Killer B at the age of 15 was able to like swap hands with Minato before he became Hokage. Here. Okay, and Killer B was able to react to Minato on numerous occasions, just so you can't say it's an outlier. Okay. Meaning he can perceive and keep up and react to Minato. Okay, now Minato's reaction speed is insane. Actually, there's a here. I'm gonna show you this calc putting Minato's reaction speed about 7% the speed of light. So it's like sub-relativistic plus. And this is Killer B at the age of 15, and we know Killer B when he fought Sasuke is 31 years old. He hasn't even mastered the Eight Tails yet. So Sasuke is fighting a lot stronger Killer B, and this is the same Sasuke I'm representing because Sasuke hold on, I'll show the calc first. Because Sasuke didn't even like recover yet from his fight with Itachi. He literally just fought Itachi. He's weakened. So, but here I'll show you the calc for that. So I can just say in my conclusion I can tell you that Grimmjow can perceive Sasuke, man. Hold on, I'm getting this calc for you. This is Parrot's favorite calc, like a faggot. If it wasn't for this calc, I can literally prove Takasasuke one-shots Minato. Kage Minato, not like Sage Mode KCM.
Hold up.
What's
Are
up?
You think that Sasuke is anywhere near this fast?
There's proof right here. There you go. And I can also use the guidebook. I can also use a guidebook to substantiate this. Here, I'll post that right now, actually. why characters at that age are that fast, because this is Killer B at that age, so 7% speed of light. Then we have Killer B as an adult, and he's able to go into his tail B state, right, with version 1, which is like 7 tails. And in the guidebook he stated to be able to like match the Raikage's lightning cloak 1, to be able to travel almost the speed of light in travel speed. And then we know there's like a translation of the Raikage synapses being on par with Minato, or the speed of light. And we know Edo Minato was able to like react to like relativistic movements in the war, and Edo Minato was weaker. So there's just so many things that substantiate the fact that Killer B at the age of 15 would have these reactions. So combat reactions, by the way, because he's I showed it in the screen.
You're saying Sasuke is like 7% the speed of light at this point?
In reaction. I'm just saying like
Okay.
he's more than
Big
that.
question.
What's up?
Can he hurt Grimmjow?
Yeah, Sasuke can definitely hurt Grimmjow.
Explain then.
Yeah,
How can he hurt Grimmjow?
after I dropped this this scan, I'll get my conclusion. Hold on. I forgot to post it. Okay. All right. So my conclusion to why Sasuke has a huge advantage over Grimmjow. Not only could Grimmjow not perceive Sasuke, in what I've proven in this debate, but Sasuke is clever, man. He's a tactician, right? So, and I stated in the beginning that thing about Sasuke what makes him crazy, because his base is he already has lightning level of speed, and then he has his dexterity and his perception is increased, right, to what he can perceive and to what he can like make movements linear through the Sharingan, right? Because it grants the eye of hypnotism and the eye of insight, and like perception of clarity, to where he can make movements completely linear. He can completely read and mimic anything and copy and just memorize it. Anything, and just auto learn it, like enhanced learning that crap on the spot, that Grimmjow does. And Grimmjow, to begin with, isn't even deceptive. His movements are linear, like already. He's not versatile to what he can do. And he's also very arrogant. And Sasuke is very smart. His like mind hacks, like his mental inducement, his like he can like place him in a genjutsu. Like that's something we need to focus that I need to focus on more. Like he can hit him in a trance so powerful, like even more powerful than Aizen's Koiketsugetsu. I can explain that by saying, because Aizen's Koiketsugetsu, its trance is powerful because you can't escape it unless you touch his sword, but that has no power. That's like more of like a condition, to where Sasuke's trance could completely make someone unable to move, and it can completely put them in an unconscious state, right, to where they lose all liberty of movement. They can't move at all. And Sasuke can do that easily just by a glance, alter his perception, anything he sees. He can play with Grimmjow's senses. Grimmjow hasn't fought someone of that level. His intellect isn't on those levels, even among the Espada. And how would he be able to hurt him? Like I said, Chidori is one of the most potent things ever. Like, I mean, you have a hard time. Like, sorry?
Is it alright if I post this little... Actually, go ahead and finish what you're saying.
Yeah, so, why Sasuke would be able to hurt Grimmjow? Because, he can neg him so many ways. He can place him in a genjutsu, say, hey, Grimmjow, lower your defenses. Keep in mind, even though you've never, like, fully proven why Grimmjow has this level of durability, or you had a hard time scaling him to, like, these characters that he doesn't scale to. And then, like, I also touched up on why this is a versus battle, and the outside assistance of Wako Mundo wouldn't apply here. So, he can place him again to tell him to lower his guard, Chidori him directly. I don't know, like, he can hurt him in so many ways. He can also paralyze him through Chidori Senpai. So many advantages Sasuke has over Grimmjow, let alone, and this calc right here, you can't even prove that Grimmjow can even perceive Sasuke, let alone curse mark Sasuke, which is I don't know, man. It's weird to argue that. So that's my conclusion. Yeah.
Okay, so if you would please look at this little attack potency chart. let's look at the gap between mountain tier and country. Mountain, 10 to the 8th. Country, 10 to the 12th. Over a 10,000 times difference. Even if we assume that Grimmjow is only, in his resurrection, is half as strong as Ulquiorra, and being in Lost Note and being in Wakamundo amps him up 10 times over, he would still be well over 50 times stronger and more durable than Sasuke.
Yeah, there's.
And in Bleach, you need relative reaction to be able to hurt your opponent, as proven once again by Ichigo versus Kenpachi. Ichigo, despite going all out against a Kenpachi who had his guard completely down and was just releasing his unconscious levels of Ryatsu, completely unable to hurt him. So how can Sasuke, with an even bigger power gap, even scratch Grimmjow?
Yeah, how did you prove that he's even relative towards that? You didn't say you were half. How do you know that? How do you know it's half? Like, you're but you made a claim based on assumption. Like, in terms of debating, that doesn't go far. So I'm asking you to justify, like, what would make it be half, or to what you just implied. That's why I said from the very beginning. I don't know why you use that again as a conclusion.
Ichigo with his hollow mask was pressing Ulquiorra to the point where he was scared and had to use his resurrection very quickly. And Grimmjow was, at worst, relative to this Ichigo, because to say he got a colossal gap between their fights is pure headcanon. So Grimmjow is, at worst, half as strong as Ichigo was at that point.
And then we're
Once again, assuming that being in Wakamundo somehow gives them like a 10 times power amp, even though there's nothing to really specify.
it doesn't need it can be 1,000. That's what you're not understanding. It can even be you're not getting it. It can.
You're pulling numbers out of your ass.
No, I'm showing you why the numbers don't really matter. It can be tens of times, thousands of times, right? It doesn't matter, because when they step foot in this dimension, they have this amp. They're showing these feats of things they're able to do that they weren't able to do in the living world, or like the Kurakura town or society per se, because it was even implied that they can't do that in society, or he doesn't have the same amp. So that's what I'm getting at. It's this amp is massive. It's an advantage. And we've seen, like, example, we've seen how, I'll say this now, I'll finally be done. We've seen the top 3 Espadas all use their resurrection within Kurakura town, and they didn't do the same level of potency, or they weren't a threat to the existence as to what it was implied in Las Noches. Meaning 2 things, man. I'm sorry. Meaning Ulquiorra was an outlier to begin with, or that the amp was just that massive. And that's it. And you still haven't touched up on if Grimmjow can even perceive him. I don't understand that. That's so weird.
Well, if Sasuke can't even put a scratch on him, then the speed gap is completely irrelevant.
Well,
Sasuke will run out of stamina before Grimmjow does.
that's the stamina. The stamina is probably the best thing I've heard you say. I could engage that, but I can, before I stop talking, I would say that I did explain how he would deal with that, his durability, or I told you in 2 ways. I said that, well, you can't scale him to the speed because outside help, and why you have improved, and because we're debating, gang, you're representing this guy, and you haven't proved that he has this level of durability that scales to properly. And then I told you, even if you want to wank him and within that world, Sasuke can still place him in illusion and tell him to lower his defenses. It's not a passive, bro. They have to keep their levels of defense up. I forgot what it's called, like hero. I forgot what it's called. Shit. But whatever. Hero. Yeah. And that's just it. And that's my conclusion, man. I don't know. That's it. You guys can judge if you want.
Okay, if you're going to bring up power inconsistencies in anime as like a debunko or a reason why they got like thousands of times stronger for being in Las Noches,
I
guess Naruto and Sasuke are sword level.
I never, Yang, that was not my argument. I never said anything about inconsistency. I never did that. But guys, you guys can judge. I gave my conclusion.
Brought up up inconsistent feats as your reason for why that that the characters get a massive amp from being in Lost Notion.
It's not what I did, man.
You said that, oh, the top of your spada couldn't destroy Fate Karakura when Ukiora and Wakamundo said that they did, so the gap, like the amp is colossal. That's what you said. You're using inconsistent feats as a reason for why Grimmjow outside of Wakamundo would be absolutely nothing.
No, that's not what inconsistent means. What I'm saying is they're able to do something within Lost Noches doesn't mean they can do it without, like, outside of it. That's all. I'm not saying that Kubo is retarded or just calling everything an outlier, bro. Just saying that.
When you call Ukiora's statement an outlier.
In regarding to what you were implying, to scale it to, like, as to show you it would either mean this. Come on, I explained that, bro. Because you were trying to scale his Sero, and I was saying no, not the Sero. And then you conceded. Remember? You said yeah.
Said it wasn't as powerful.
Okay.
It was a threat in the first place.
Yeah.
To show
But don't say I'm
it was
calling.
able to destroy-
But don't say I'm calling Kubo an outlier. I'm not gonna do that. The only outlier I called was Kishimoto with the Killer Bee. That was stupid. Yeah, good debate, Yang.
Hold up, let me say my closing thoughts.
Oh,
So, my closing thoughts here are that Grimmjow at worst is small country level, and no matter what Sasuke does, will not be able to hurt Grimmjow simply because of the colossal gap between their power, and that they would be relatives in speed.
okay.
And those are my closing thoughts. Feel free to speak about if you want this.
I already gave my conclusion. I gotta get ready too. Yo, are you guys there?
They put us two different chats. They're talking about it without us.
Oh.
They're trying to their opinion.
It's fucking Sota programmer. Debate me, Sasuke. Debate me, Sasuke. You fucking faggot. Such a bitch.